Welcome to 10 Spot Highlights, where we uncover the most fascinating top 10 lists, from ancient mysteries to groundbreaking future evolutions. Dive into the captivating stories of the past, explore unsolved enigmas, and see how history shapes our tomorrow. Don't miss out. Hit like, subscribe, and explore the rest of our videos for a journey through time and mystery. Your next adventure starts here. Welcome to 10 Spot Highlights, your ultimate destination for unraveling the mysteries of history, myths, and everything that sends chills down your spine. Today, we're diving into the top 10 things said to be haunted. These are no ordinary places or objects. These are steeped in stories so eerie, they've left skeptics baffled. Stick around till the end, because the last entry on our list will make you question reality. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel for more spine-tingling content. Now let's dive in, if you dare. 1. The Cursed Dybbuk Box. In the world of the paranormal, there are haunted houses, cursed objects, and lingering spirits. But few things are as enigmatic and terrifying as the Dybbuk Box. It is said to contain a restless spirit, a dybbuk, a creature from Jewish folklore that clings to the living, wreaking havoc on their lives. The story of this unassuming wine cabinet begins with Kevin Mannis, who bought it at an estate sale in the early 2000s, completely unaware of the nightmare he was inviting into his life. The box wasn't ordinary from the start. Inside, Mannis found locks of hair, a dried rose, a goblet, and a peculiar carving of a Shema, a Jewish prayer. But it wasn't the contents that disturbed him, it was what came next. Mannis began experiencing vivid nightmares of an old hag attacking him. Even more unsettling, everyone who stayed near the box reported having the same dream. Lights flickered, doors slammed shut, and a strange, sour odor wafted through the house without explanation. Mannis tried to gift the box to his mother as a birthday present, a decision he would deeply regret. Mere moments after receiving it, she suffered a severe stroke. This was no coincidence, he thought. Overwhelmed with fear, Mannis listed the box on eBay, openly describing the eerie events surrounding it. He hoped to pass on his torment, and pass it on he did. The next owner, a student named Iosif Nitsky, reported similar experiences. His hair began falling out, he suffered from insomnia, and his home felt unnaturally cold no matter how high he turned the heat. Convinced that the box was cursed, Nitsky eventually sold it as well, sending it to a man named Jason Haxton, who was a museum curator. Haxton, unlike the others, tried to approach the box scientifically. He researched its origins and performed experiments to understand its power. Yet even he wasn't spared. He fell gravely ill, experiencing unexplainable rashes, coughing fits, and even coughing up blood. Desperate to stop the curse, Haxton sought help from rabbis to reseal the box and prevent the spirit from escaping. He succeeded, and the Dybbuk box was locked away in a secret location, at least for a time. The Dybbuk box gained worldwide attention after being featured in Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum. Paranormal investigators and skeptics alike were drawn to it, trying to debunk or prove its power. Bagans himself claimed to have felt a dark energy emanating from it, and visitors to his museum reported fainting, panic attacks, and even uncontrollable sobbing near the box. The mystery surrounding the Dybbuk box leaves us with questions. Is it truly cursed, or is the fear and folklore enough to convince us that it's haunted? One thing is certain, the stories tied to this unassuming wooden box have created a chilling legacy that endures to this day. Do you believe that the Dybbuk box truly contains a restless spirit? Or could all these experiences be explained by suggestion and fear? 2. The Haunted Waverly Hills Sanatorium. High atop a hill in Louisville, Kentucky, sits Waverly Hills Sanatorium, a sprawling, decaying building that holds a grim and tragic past. Its imposing structure looms like a shadow over the city, whispering stories of death, despair, and the countless souls who never made it out alive. Built in 1910, Waverly Hills was a beacon of hope for those suffering from tuberculosis, known then as the White Plague. However, as the disease spread rapidly and medical treatments lagged behind, the sanatorium became less a place of healing and more a waiting room for death. During the height of the tuberculosis epidemic, Waverly Hills housed over 400 patients at a time. Doctors and nurses worked tirelessly to treat their patients, often resorting to radical and experimental procedures. Lobectomies, where infected parts of the lungs were surgically removed, were common. Patients were also subjected to painful procedures like balloon inflation of the lungs, all in a desperate attempt to combat the disease. For many, these treatments were worse than the illness itself, and the mortality rate soared. The sanatorium's most infamous feature is its body chute, a long dark tunnel that slopes downward from the hospital to the railroad tracks below. Officially called the Death Tunnel, it was used to discreetly remove the bodies of deceased patients, ensuring that the remaining residents didn't lose hope by witnessing the constant death around them. It is said that over 63,000 people perished within Waverly Hills walls. Their spirits, it seems, never left. Paranormal investigators flock to Waverly Hills, drawn by stories of ghostly encounters that have persisted for decades. Visitors often report hearing disembodied voices, footsteps echoing in empty hallways, and the sound of gurneys squeaking down the now abandoned corridors. One of the most chilling legends is that of Room 502. This room is said to be haunted by the spirit of a nurse who hanged herself after becoming pregnant out of wedlock. Her ghost reportedly appears in the doorway, her silhouette stark against the dim moonlight filtering through broken windows. Others claim to see the shadow of a man hanging from the ceiling. And then there's Timmy, the playful ghost of a young boy who roams the 5th floor. Paranormal teams have left balls in the hallway, only to see them roll back as though an unseen hand had nudged them. Those who venture deeper into the sanatorium often speak of the creeper, a malevolent, shadowy figure that crawls along the walls and ceilings, watching visitors with glowing eyes. Even skeptics have reported an unshakable sense of dread while exploring Waverly Hills. Many feel as though they are being watched or followed, and sudden temperature drops are common in areas known for intense paranormal activity. Electronic equipment often malfunctions without explanation, and eerie whispers can sometimes be heard on recordings, as if the spirits are trying to communicate. Despite its terrifying reputation, Waverly Hills continues to draw those brave enough, or foolish enough, to enter its haunted halls. The building now serves as a historic site, with guided tours and paranormal investigations offered to the public. But one must wonder, are the spirits welcoming their visitors, or are they simply waiting for their next victim? Would you dare to walk through the halls of Waverly Hills, knowing its dark and haunted past? 3. The Screaming Tunnel of Niagara Falls. Tucked away in the countryside near the majestic Niagara Falls lies the Screaming Tunnel, a dark and eerie limestone passageway that has terrified locals and visitors for over a century. The tunnel itself is unremarkable at first glance, a simple passage carved beneath an old railway track, but its chilling legend has cemented it as one of the most haunted places in Canada. If the stories are to be believed, this tunnel is more than just a shortcut through the countryside. It's the final resting place of a restless and tormented soul. The legend tells of a young girl who met a gruesome and tragic end within the tunnel's stone walls. Some versions of the story say she was a farmer's daughter, fleeing from a burning house, her clothes and hair ablaze. Others claim she was a victim of a terrible crime, assaulted and set on fire to silence her screams. In both versions, her death was agonizing, and her cries of terror echoed through the tunnel, imprinting her anguish on its very stones. To this day, it's said that if you strike a match in the tunnel at midnight, it will mysteriously extinguish, followed by the sound of a blood-curdling scream. Those brave enough to test the legend have described the overwhelming sensation of being watched, an inexplicable chill that seeps into their bones, and a feeling of suffocation as if the tunnel itself is alive and angry. Paranormal investigators have flocked to the Screaming Tunnel in search of evidence of the supernatural. They report hearing faint cries and the sound of footsteps echoing behind them, despite being alone. Others claim to see the ghostly figure of a girl in a scorched white dress, her face obscured by shadows. When approached, she vanishes, leaving only the faint smell of smoke in her wake. Even skeptics admit there's something unnerving about the tunnel. Its acoustics amplify even the smallest sounds, creating an unsettling echo that makes it hard to tell where the noise is coming from. The air inside feels heavier, colder, as if it carries the weight of tragedy. Some believe the legend persists because of the tunnel's oppressive atmosphere, while others are certain it's the girl's restless spirit, bound forever to the place of her death. Despite its grim reputation, the Screaming Tunnel remains a popular destination for thrill seekers and ghost hunters. Many leave with unsettling stories of their own, matches extinguished by invisible hands, whispers in the dark, and an unshakable sense of fear. But the question remains, is the Screaming Tunnel truly haunted, or is it simply a reflection of the human fear of the unknown? Would you strike a match in the Screaming Tunnel and risk hearing the ghostly scream? Or would you turn and run before the clock strikes midnight? The Queen Mary, the haunted ship, docked peacefully in Long Beach, California. The RMS Queen Mary is a stunning reminder of the golden age of ocean liners. With its Art Deco interiors and rich history, it's a sight to behold. But step aboard, and you might feel something else entirely. The Queen Mary is not just a ship, it's a ghostly vessel, riddled with tales of tragedy, mystery, and hauntings that have left even the bravest visitors shaken. During its service years, the Queen Mary was known as the Grey Ghost, serving as a troop transport during World War II. But long before it earned its haunted reputation, the ship was already tied to tragedy. In 1936, a young crewman was crushed to death by a watertight door in the engine room, an event that would later become one of the ship's most famous hauntings. It's said that his ghost still lingers, his heavy boots echoing in the engine room late at night. The swimming pool is another hotbed of paranormal activity. Though the pool has been dry for decades, visitors have reported hearing the sounds of splashing water, laughter, and even faint footprints appearing on the dusty floor. Witnesses have described seeing ghostly women in vintage swimsuits lounging by the empty pool or walking its perimeter. Others have spotted a little girl clutching a teddy bear, her giggles turning into eerie sobs as she fades into thin air. One of the most famous ghost stories from the Queen Mary involves cabin B340, a room so notoriously haunted that it was closed to the public for years. Guests who stayed in the cabin reported lights flickering, bedding being yanked off the bed, and even waking up to see a dark figure standing at the foot of their bed. Some believed the cabin was cursed, tied to a violent death that had occurred there years before. The ship has been featured on countless paranormal investigations, from TV shows to private tours. Investigators have recorded EVP, electronic voice phenomena, captured shadowy figures on video, and experienced sudden cold spots. Some even claim to have been touched or pushed by unseen hands. The Queen Mary's history and its hauntings make it one of the most well-documented paranormal sites in the world. Despite the spine-chilling stories, the Queen Mary attracts thousands of visitors each year. Some come for the history, others for the thrill, and many leave convinced that they've experienced something beyond explanation. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is certain. The Queen Mary is more than just a ship. It's a portal to the past where the spirits of the departed refuse to rest. Would you dare spend the night in cabin B340 knowing its haunted reputation? Or would you avoid the Queen Mary altogether? 5. The Myrtles Plantation, a house of restless spirits. Nestled in the small town of St. Francisville, Louisiana, the Myrtles Plantation is a picturesque southern mansion surrounded by ancient oak trees draped with Spanish moss. But behind its charming facade lies a dark and sinister history that has earned it the title of one of America's most haunted homes. With tales of murder, betrayal, and lingering spirits, the Myrtles Plantation is said to house more than a dozen restless ghosts. The plantation dates back to 1796, when it was built by General David Bradford, a man fleeing prosecution for his involvement in the Whiskey Rebellion. Over the years, the mansion became home to a series of families, each adding their own chapters to its haunting legacy. But the most infamous story revolves around a slave named Chloe, whose tragic tale has become synonymous with the Myrtles Plantation. According to legend, Chloe was a house servant who worked for Judge Clark Woodruff and his family. Rumor has it that she was caught eavesdropping on one of the judge's private conversations and, as punishment, had her ear cut off. To hide her disfigurement, Chloe began wearing a green turban, a detail that many witnesses claim to have seen on her ghostly apparition. Seeking revenge, Chloe allegedly baked a cake laced with poison, intending to sicken the judge. However, the plan went horribly wrong, and instead, his wife and 2 daughters ate the cake, succumbing to the poison. Racked with guilt and fearing retribution, Chloe confessed to the crime. The other slaves, fearing collective punishment, took matters into their own hands, hanging Chloe from a tree on the property. Her spirit is said to haunt the plantation, often appearing in photographs or wandering the grounds in her green turban. The tragedies didn't end there. The plantation's history is littered with violent deaths and unexplained events. One of the most chilling tales involves a mirror in the main hallway. Tradition dictates that mirrors should be covered after a death to prevent the deceased spirit from becoming trapped. However, one mirror at the Myrtles Plantation was left uncovered, and it's said to contain the spirits of Sarah Woodruff and her children. Visitors report seeing handprints and faces materialize on the glass, even after it's been cleaned. Guests and staff alike have reported countless paranormal experiences. Phantom footsteps echoing through empty halls, the sound of a piano playing on its own, and the ghostly laughter of children in the dead of night. One particularly chilling account comes from a visitor who stayed in the famous Room 8. They awoke in the middle of the night to see a shadowy figure standing at the foot of the bed, watching them. When they reached for the light, the figure vanished, leaving only the lingering feeling of being observed. Despite its terrifying reputation, the Myrtles Plantation remains a popular destination for ghost hunters and curious tourists. It operates as a bed and breakfast, offering visitors the chance to sleep among the spirits. Many leave with unsettling stories of their own, convinced they've encountered something beyond this world. Would you dare spend a night at the Myrtles Plantation, knowing the spirits of its dark past might come to visit you? 6. The Winchester Mystery House, a maze of spirits. In the heart of San Jose, California, stands a sprawling mansion unlike any other in the world. The Winchester Mystery House is a labyrinth of twisting hallways, staircases that lead to nowhere, and doors that open into empty air. While its architectural oddities are fascinating, they pale in comparison to the stories of its ghostly inhabitants. For decades, the house has been shrouded in mystery and terror, with many believing that it was designed to confuse and trap the spirits of the dead. The story begins with Sarah Winchester, the widow of William Wirt Winchester, the heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms Company fortune. After the tragic deaths of her infant daughter and her husband, Sarah was left alone and grieving. Desperate for answers, she sought the help of a medium who told her that her family was cursed by the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles. The only way to appease these restless souls, the medium claimed, was to build a house for them, a house that must never be completed. And so in 1884, construction began on the Winchester Mystery House. For the next 38 years, carpenters worked around the clock, adding rooms, corridors, and staircases in an endless cycle of building. Sarah believed that as long as the construction continued, she would be safe from the vengeful spirits. The result was a bizarre mansion with over 160 rooms, 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, and countless architectural anomalies. Some doors open to brick walls, while others lead to sudden drops. A staircase ascends to the ceiling, and hallways twist and turn in ways that defy logic. It's a house that seems designed to confuse not just its visitors, but also the spirits Sarah feared so deeply. But Sarah's precautions may not have worked. The Winchester Mystery House is widely regarded as one of the most haunted places in the United States. Visitors and staff report hearing footsteps echoing through empty halls, disembodied voices whispering their names, and doors creaking open and slamming shut on their own. Some have even claimed to see the ghost of Sarah Winchester herself wandering the halls, her black mourning dress trailing behind her. One of the most infamous areas of the house is the seance room, where Sarah is said to have communicated with the spirits for guidance on the mansion's design. The room has only one entrance but 3 exits, one of which is a secret passage. Those who step inside often report an overwhelming sense of unease, as if unseen eyes are watching them. Another hotspot for paranormal activity is the Grand Ballroom, where visitors have seen shadowy figures moving in the corners of the room. Some say they've heard the sound of faint music, as though a ghostly party is taking place. Others have encountered cold spots and felt a sudden, inexplicable chill while standing in the middle of the room. Despite its haunting reputation, the Winchester Mystery House remains a popular tourist destination. Guided tours take visitors through its maze-like corridors, offering a glimpse into the mind of Sarah Winchester and the spirits she feared. But as you walk through the house, it's hard not to wonder, are the ghosts still there, wandering the halls, lost in the labyrinth Sarah created for them? If you were to visit the Winchester Mystery House, would you dare to enter the seance room, or would you stick to the safety of the main halls? 7. Eastern State Penitentiary, the haunted prison. Standing tall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with its imposing Gothic architecture and crumbling walls, Eastern State Penitentiary is a chilling reminder of the harsh realities of incarceration in the 19th and 20th centuries. Once considered the pinnacle of prison reform, its innovative approach to solitary confinement left a dark and lingering legacy. Today, the penitentiary is notorious not just for its eerie atmosphere, but for the countless stories of ghostly encounters within its decaying halls. Built in 1829, Eastern State Penitentiary introduced a revolutionary system of solitary confinement meant to reform prisoners through isolation and reflection. Inmates lived in individual cells with only a narrow skylight called the Eye of God, offering a glimpse of the outside world. They ate, slept, and worked in silence, forbidden to interact with other prisoners or even guards. While this system was intended to inspire penitence, it often drove inmates to the brink of insanity. The prison's oppressive design and strict discipline became a breeding ground for misery and despair. One of the most infamous inmates to walk its halls was none other than Al Capone. The notorious gangster spent 8 months in a surprisingly well-furnished cell, but even he couldn't escape the penitentiary's eerie presence. Capone reportedly complained of being haunted by the ghost of James Clark, one of the victims of the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Guards and fellow inmates often heard Capone screaming in the night, begging an unseen figure to leave him alone. Eastern State Penitentiary officially closed its doors in 1971, but it didn't remain silent for long. Visitors and staff began reporting strange occurrences almost immediately. The echoes of disembodied voices, the sound of cell doors slamming shut on their own, and shadowy figures moving through the corridors are just a few of the unsettling phenomena described. Cell Block 12 is particularly infamous for its paranormal activity. Visitors report hearing blood-curdling screams echoing through the empty halls and seeing shadowy figures darting from cell to cell. In Cell Block 6, there are frequent sightings of ghostly faces peering out from the darkened cells, as if the souls of former inmates are still imprisoned. The infirmary wing is another hotspot for ghostly encounters, with reports of phantom footsteps, ghostly moans, and a chilling presence that makes even seasoned ghost hunters uneasy. Perhaps the most terrifying area is Death Row. The oppressive atmosphere is palpable, and many visitors claim to feel an overwhelming sense of dread when they enter. Paranormal investigators have captured numerous EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, in this section, with some recordings clearly capturing anguished voices crying out for help or redemption. Today, Eastern State Penitentiary is open to the public as a historic site and museum, but its haunted reputation draws as many thrill seekers as history buffs. The annual Halloween attraction, Terror Behind the Walls, immerses visitors in the penitentiary's dark past, but even outside of the event, many guests leave with chilling tales of their own. Some describe being touched by unseen hands, feeling cold spots in otherwise warm rooms, or hearing whispers that seem to come from nowhere. The question remains, are these phenomena the echoes of a tortured past, or is it the restless spirits of those who suffered within these walls? For those brave enough to walk through the penitentiary's decaying corridors, the answer may come all too clearly. If you visited Eastern State Penitentiary, would you venture into cell block 12 to confront the eerie screams, or would you steer clear of its haunted halls altogether? 8. The Hoia Baciu Forest, the Bermuda Triangle of Romania. Tucked away in the heart of Transylvania, Romania, lies the Hoia Baciu Forest, a place so steeped in mystery and fear that it's often referred to as the Bermuda Triangle of Romania. This dense, twisted forest has earned its reputation as one of the most haunted places on Earth, drawing paranormal investigators, curious travelers, and those brave enough to explore its secrets. The forest gained worldwide attention in the 1960s when a biologist named Alexandru Sift captured a series of photographs of a mysterious UFO hovering above the tree canopy. Ever since, Hoia Baciu has been synonymous with unexplained phenomena, including sightings of ghostly apparitions, bizarre lights, and whispers that seem to come from nowhere. For many who enter, the forest has an almost sentient quality, as though it's watching and waiting for something or someone. One of the forest's most unsettling features is the Poiana Rotunda, or the clearing. This perfectly circular patch of land, devoid of any trees or vegetation, lies eerily in the middle of the forest. Scientists have been unable to explain why nothing grows there, and visitors to the clearing often report an overwhelming sense of unease. Some say they feel as though they're being followed, while others claim to hear faint giggles and footsteps just out of sight. Many locals believe that the Hoia Baciu forest is cursed or a gateway to another dimension. There are countless accounts of people entering the forest and emerging hours, or even days later, with no memory of what happened inside. Others report electronic devices malfunctioning or draining completely while in the forest, adding to the air of mystery. Perhaps the most chilling tales are those of the ghostly apparitions said to haunt the forest. Witnesses have described shadowy figures lurking between the trees, often accompanied by an unshakable sense of dread. Some have even reported seeing faces materialize in photographs taken inside the forest, faces that were not visible at the time. For centuries, locals have avoided the forest, warning that those who enter may never return the same. Some believe that the spirits of the forest are the restless souls of people who have vanished there, trapped between worlds. Whether it's ghosts, extraterrestrials, or something even more sinister, the Hoia Baciu forest remains an enigma that defies explanation. Would you dare to step into the Hoia Baciu forest and explore the eerie Poiana Rotunda? Or would you keep your distance from this infamous woodland? 9. The infamous Annabelle doll, a chilling legend. Few objects in the world of the paranormal are as infamous or as feared as Annabelle, the doll said to be possessed by a malevolent entity. Safely locked away in the glass case of the Warren Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, Annabelle is not your average plaything. Her innocent appearance masks a terrifying legacy that has fascinated and horrified people for decades. The story of Annabelle begins in the 1970s when a young nursing student named Donna received the doll as a gift from her mother. At first glance, Annabelle seemed like any other Raggedy Ann doll, with her stitched red yarn hair and cheerful painted smile. But it wasn't long before Donna and her roommate Angie began noticing strange occurrences in their apartment. Annabelle seemed to have a mind of her own. The doll was often found in different positions or in entirely different rooms, despite neither woman having moved her. At times, Donna would leave Annabelle on her bed in the morning, only to find her sitting on the couch by evening. But the most chilling discovery came when the women began finding handwritten notes around the apartment, scrawled on parchment paper they didn't own. The messages read, "Help me and help Lou," referring to Angie's fiancé Lou. Frightened and desperate for answers, Donna contacted a psychic medium who revealed that the spirit of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins was attached to the doll. According to the medium, Annabelle had died tragically at a young age and sought comfort from Donna and Angie. Moved by the story, the women allowed the spirit to stay, believing it to be harmless. However, the entity attached to Annabelle was far from innocent. Lou began experiencing terrifying nightmares in which the doll would crawl up his body and strangle him. On one occasion, he woke to find deep scratches across his chest, which he claimed appeared after Annabelle attacked him. The women quickly realized they were dealing with something far more sinister than the spirit of a little girl. Seeking help, Donna and Angie turned to renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. After studying the case, the Warrens concluded that the entity inhabiting the doll was not a child spirit, but a demonic force using Annabelle as a conduit. The Warrens explained that the demon's goal was to possess one of the occupants, and the doll was merely a means to manipulate and frighten them. To protect the women, the Warrens took Annabelle and sealed her in a glass case, where she remains to this day. A sign on the case warns visitors, "Positively do not open." Despite being contained, Annabelle's legend continues to grow, fueled by accounts of those who dared to challenge her. One particularly famous story involves a man who mocked the doll while visiting the museum. On his way home, he reportedly lost control of his motorcycle and died in a tragic accident. Annabelle's eerie presence has transcended her physical form, inspiring movies, books, and countless ghost stories. But for those who have encountered her, the fear she evokes is very real. Ed Warren once said, "The doll is not what's dangerous. What's dangerous is what's attached to it." The question remains, is Annabelle's power truly contained, or is the demon that once controlled her merely lying in wait? If you were standing in front of Annabelle's glass case, would you feel tempted to challenge her legend, or would you heed the warning, "Positively do not open"? 10. The Ancient Ram Inn, England's most haunted house. Nestled in the quiet village of Watton-under-Edge in Gloucestershire, England, the Ancient Ram Inn is a structure steeped in over 1,000 years of history and shrouded in dark, spine-chilling legends. With its crooked timbers and weathered stone walls, the inn might appear quaint at first glance, but its reputation as one of the most haunted places in England is anything but charming. The Ancient Ram Inn was built in 1145, initially serving as housing for masons working on the nearby St. Mary's Church. However, long before the inn's construction, the land it stands on was reportedly a site of pagan rituals. The inn is believed to have been built atop ancient ley lines, mystical energy paths, and even a pagan burial ground. This connection to ancient spiritual practices may explain why so many claim the inn is a hotspot for supernatural activity. The inn's first recorded owner, John Humphreys, purchased the property in the 1960s and became its most famous resident. Almost immediately, Humphreys encountered strange phenomena. On his first night, he claimed to have been violently yanked out of his bed by an invisible force. Determined to uncover the truth behind the inn's hauntings, he dedicated his life to preserving the property and documenting its eerie occurrences. Visitors to the Ancient Ram Inn have reported a wide array of paranormal experiences, from cold spots and strange sounds to full-bodied apparitions. One of the most notorious spirits is that of a witch who was allegedly burned at the stake during the 1500s. Legend has it that she sought refuge in the inn before being captured, and her spirit never left. Her presence is most often felt in the witch's room, where visitors have reported feeling an oppressive, suffocating energy. Another chilling legend revolves around the bishop's room, considered the most haunted room in the inn. Guests have claimed to see shadowy figures, spectral monks, and even a demonic entity lurking in the corners. The room's sinister energy has caused more than one visitor to flee in the middle of the night, unable to withstand the overwhelming sense of dread. Perhaps the most unsettling discovery came during renovations, when Humphreys unearthed evidence of sacrificial rituals beneath the inn. Among the findings were skeletal remains, including small bones believed to belong to children, and daggers used in ritualistic practices. Paranormal investigators and psychics who have visited the site believe that these sacrifices could be the source of the dark energy that permeates the property. Over the years, countless ghost hunters and curious travelers have flocked to the ancient Ram Inn, hoping to experience its infamous hauntings for themselves. Some leave with nothing more than an eerie story, while others claim to have been physically attacked by unseen forces. Even skeptics have walked away questioning their beliefs after hearing disembodied voices or witnessing objects move on their own. The ancient Ram Inn's history, combined with its unrelenting paranormal activity, has cemented its place as one of the most terrifying haunted locations in the world. But its dark secrets may never be fully uncovered, leaving visitors to wonder: are the spirits trapped here victims of a violent past? Or is there something far more sinister lurking in the shadows? Would you dare spend a night in the ancient Ram Inn's infamous bishop's room? Or would its dark history keep you away? And that wraps up our list of the top 10 things said to be haunted. What do you think? Are these tales evidence of the supernatural? Or are they just products of our imagination? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this spine-tingling journey, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more mysterious adventures. Until next time, stay curious, and maybe leave the lights on tonight. Thanks for watching 10 Spot Highlights, where the past, present, and future collide in our top 10 lists. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to join us on more fascinating adventures through time and mystery. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned. There's so much more to uncover in our next video. See you soon.